Death Stranding is, without a doubt, one of the most anticipated games of the year. By the way, I can say this now, as the game finally got confirmed to be released in early November. Yeah! There's a meme that it's almost too real that we barely know anything about the game, but we're desperate to play it anyway. It's a similar feeling to anyone who tries to enter the Kingdom Hearts series. Just imagine if Nomura and Kojima work together. I don't think there's enough fantasy for that. But anyway, today we're gonna try to get a little bit less lost. Let's take a look at all the gameplay details and analyze everything about it. In the previous trailers we barely saw anything about the gameplay, so it's something new. There wasn't a ton of stuff, as the trailer showed a lot of cutscenes, but it's something. As we go through the analysis, however, we're gonna have to touch a little bit on the story. Okay, let's go.
I'll show you the real thing soon. I promise.
The trailer presents various characters but focus on Sam. People always joke about the game being a walking simulator, and indeed he walks a lot. We see Sam walking on an open green field, walking on mountains, walking on snow, and even walking in the middle of the war. We can definitely expect a wide world with different places to explore. It's worth checking out Sam's clothes. At some point he's in white, then he's in black, kinda blue, with a hood, loose hair, ponytail, a cap, and even glasses. It's hard to tell if Sam's outfits serve some function, like the clothes being more adequate to a cold environment, or the glasses helping with his vision while on the bike, or something else. We haven't seen anything of the sort yet, but I can definitely see it happening. It can also be more of a narrative tool to indicate the passing of time, but we'll see. Now let's take a look at the game's interface. In general, it's almost not present. In 90% of the gameplay scenes, no interface is showed on screen, save a few occasions like a gunfight. But we can open some sort of inventory, and let's see what's showing up here. The first item we see is a ladder. It's a simple item, it's a 10 meters long portable ladder. The description gives the example of using it to cross slopes and rivers. We hold L2 to enter in a standby mode, basically preparing the item, and R2 to position it. And we see Sam execute this action. As he's about to climb the ladder, we can see that we can make minor adjustments as fold with the options button and hold with square. The ladder seems to be pretty easy to use, even on tough angles like we're shown here, and it won't be so inconvenient to cross some places with it. Nice. Next, we have the climbing anchor. As the description says, it's an item to, well, climb. It allows for ascent and descent of steep slopes and cliffs, and the rope has up to 30 meters of length. Just like the ladder, we hold L2 to prepare and R2 to fix it into position. It seems like, in counterpart with the ladder, the anchor will be more of an item to descend than to ascend. Sure, we can climb up once we go down, but not the other way around, because there wouldn't be a way to fix the anchor where we're trying to get. A great highlight goes to the climbing animation. It's not unpleasantly slow, at the same time it's very realistic the way the character's legs interact with the rocks, without that ugly clipping we see in other games. We can also spot a gun in the menu, and we'll see it being used, although not directly as the other two items are shown in the trailer. It works as we expect, and we see these skull enemies that are probably from Cliff's army, Cliff being the character portrayed by Mads Mikkelsen, and they seem to be quite resistant. They get a gunshot to the head, and we even see their heads falling off, but they're still standing. This type of enemies will most likely be more threatening than some normal folks we see in the trailer, which Sam can take on with his bare hands. When Sam opens the item menu, we can get a glimpse of more items that are not shown in the trailer. Next to the gun icon, we see another icon that I can only guess it's a melee weapon, conveniently placed next to the ranged weapon. We also see this X icon, which is the unequip, to let go of anything that you are currently using. But the most intriguing one is above. It looks like someone is pissing? Look, he's even got his head on the waist! That's a classic pissing stand. Well, that's quite Kojima-esque. In a recent case, in Metal Gear Solid 5, you can use the horse shit to screw up enemies. But looking closely, we can see that the one pissing seems to be more like a baby, and we already know that babies have a quite important mechanic in the game. So it's more likely that this icon is to activate that baby mechanic, which we'll talk about in a bit, than actually using your piece to do something. With the interface out of the way, let's go to a more open area. Here, Sam is going stealth. We can see some sort of scanner going through the whole area right before Sam takes a short break and leaves a spot that continuously scans the area in a small radius. So it seems to me that we can not only scan the area, but also leave some spots behind that can help a lot to determine if someone is passing through a point of interest. After a cut, Sam is detected by the enemies, so we barely had any insight about how the stealth works in the game. But he tries to escape while they try to hit Sam with this kinda shock rod thingy. We don't see Sam getting hit, but since it's a shock weapon, it will probably have some sort of stun effect, which can really complicate your life if you're trying to escape. We see, however, that Sam's cargo gets hit. The suitcase falls from his back, and this specific briefcase might be a key item, so being necessary to complete the mission. We also see Sam carrying a lot of other stuff in a lot of different places throughout the trailer, so carrying stuff, it's important. Don't let the stuff fall. It's so important that Sam runs back to get the briefcase before dodging the enemies and continuing with his escape. It's also very quick and apparently without the need to press any buttons. Very dynamic. But it's good to know that we should avoid conflict while we have a cargo. Something interesting to notice is that, as we can see with the previous trailer, the movement animation resembles a lot Metal Gear. It's almost like a Kojima thing at this point. Anyway, next we see that Sam also uses some CKC, throwing a sequence of punches before grabbing the enemy's briefcase and smacking their faces with it. Just like the other briefcase, he grabs it without apparently pressing any button. Quick and intuitive. Almost like an action movie where the characters grab whatever is in front of them to use as a weapon. This conflict scene ends with Sam running away in his big-ass futuristic bike. Sam rides the bike in other more calm moments of the trailer, so it's safe to assume that it will be his main means of locomotion. Kinda like Deacon's bike in Days Gone. Though I hope we don't have to fill the gas like every 5 minutes or so. Then it starts to rain and we watch a cutscene where the enemies stop chasing Sam. Those entities called BTs, Beached Things, weird name by the way, but cool, seems to only appear when raining. It's not clear if this scene is scripted, meaning it was always gonna happen, or if the rain will be somehow integrated in a dynamic weather mechanic. It would certainly be very cool if some types of enemies flees and other types appears depending on whether or not it's raining. Anyway, the enemies have a reason to fear the BTs. We see Sam walking in the rain using one of the bridge babies, these weird things that seems to somehow detect BTs by connecting to the other side. We get to see the BTs very quickly right before Sam gets detected again. Nah, he definitely won't replace Snake, and tries to escape. As Sam flees, we can see a classic hand marks on the ground where the BTs pass, and then they eventually grab Sam. In the Japanese trailer, we get to see an extra scene where this monster-like thing is going up against Sam. I guess the BT since it's raining and it's kind of a oozy thing, but it's not humanoid like the others, so we'll see. When the BTs grab Sam, however, he doesn't appear to die. In fact, Kojima already told us that death in this game would be something very different. Sam is sucked to the underground and they take him somewhere else. The scene then cuts and we are in a completely different place. Whereas before we were in an open area with a lot of vegetation, now we're on a battlefield. We see some soldiers and even a tank with that same smoke effect that we see on Cliff Soldiers. Sam even uses one of the tanks to go through stealthily, but in the next scene he doesn't seem to be detected by the soldiers, at least not aggressively. This may indicate that we have a side on this war, the side of these soldiers that aren't those skull ones from Cliff. Getting back to the death mechanic, it's been confirmed recently that when we die, we're transported to this upside down realm instead of really dying. It's not clear if the upside down is the war zone or it's simply this beach place we see a lot in the trailers. It's too early to tell, but maybe we're gonna do with 2 different antagonists in 2 different dimensions. Cliff being the one in the upside down war zone and Higgs in the main one. Riggs being the character played by Troy Baker. It's said in the trailer that these separate characters are committing various terrorist actions and Riggs seems to be one of them. In fact, we can see that he's acting against the character Fragile, so maybe we got a savior at some point in the game. It would be a really interesting mechanic and quite unique. In a way, we have two different gameplay pacings, two different plots, and different enemies that are all connected somehow in this weird story. And I'm really looking forward to it. That's it, guys. If you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's the first video here, so it really helps us out in the beginning of the channel. Alright, this was Kyle. See you later. Bye bye.